If 15 businesses around your neighborhood decide to randomly close, how many jobs have just been lost? How far now do you gotta go to get your car wash? Or how far do you gotta get your hair cut? Or how far do you gotta go to take your son to a karate class because there's no longer a karate instructor in your neighborhood? Why? Because the person that owns this karate shop is looking to retire, but no one actually wants to take over it. I'm not We're not doing this to be selfish. This podcast is not for us whatsoever. This podcast is to enlighten people, to share more information, to actually advise to the public how important the things that we're talking about is for not just me, not for you, but for your friends, your family, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your doctor, your nurses, your millmen, everyone in your neighborhood, every person you know should be understanding what a succession plan is for their business. Even if they don't have a business, still call them and ask them.
Started from the hustle, now we playing it smart. Put the system in position, took the grind out the heart. Got a team on a vision, every role playing part. Ain't no job, it's a business, that's the real boss art. We the 2Exit Podcast.
Welcome to Freedom to Exit. I'm your host, Sam Mitchell. Join my compadres, Floyd and Maurice. Josiah won't be joining us today. He's out on the road today. But guys, we were just kind of kicking things around, and we always have our meetings around 11 o'clock, our informal meetings. Sometimes we do them together, and sometimes we do it by Zoom call, and today we're by Zoom because everybody's schedule's so hectic. But we was just brainstorming, talking about some of the business deals that we have on the table, and I kind of posed the question, and you guys are always joking with me because the show is Freedom to Exit. But I said something, I keep joking with you guys because I'm on lack of sleep. I said failure to exit. And you guys threw around like, oh man, the show is not about failure to exit. But it really is. Because I want to ask you guys, what happens when there's a failure to exit your business properly? I know we laugh about it because, I forget a lot of things except for those X's and O's on the basketball court. But guys, we often talk about with small business owners, especially small business owners, what happens to their lives when there's a failure to exit and a failure to exit properly. So I'm going to start with you, Floyd. When a small business, and we've talked about this among ourselves, have a failure to exit, how does that look?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was just, I went to a funeral a couple of days ago, and I was talking to the, the individual who had lost a loved one. They happened to own a business, Sam and Maurice, and I think both of the owners they were husband and wives, and the owners were probably in their 80s. And when one of the owners, when the husband died, it left the company in a state of chaos, because it's all about, some of it is about timing. I've heard a lot of business owners say, boy, back in 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I was at the height of my success in my business. I should have exited. Then. That was when I was exiting. I should have. And they're right. So now you've got this individual whose wife is left with a business that she really doesn't know how to navigate, because the husband ran the business. He was the expert. He was the person who actually knew more about the business and the aspects of the services they offered. She's left trying to figure out, what do I do with this business in my 80s? When you talk about a failure to exit, that's a prime example of a business owner who wasn't thinking strategically and looking, ahead to understand that you don't work your business until you go to the grave. Unfortunately, this person did, but it left the business. The business is still there, but the business is now left in the hands of maybe individuals who don't know how to navigate what's next and where
Maurice,
to go.
look.
So I'll let you guys.
And Floyd, I'm glad you brought that point. Maurice, look, But this show, we're gonna give people some real life solutions. All right. We're gonna let you guys on the inside know exactly what we do. Maurice, we have this situation, it has happened. Now you have an elderly, a person left, the husband has passed away. You can't help what has happened. Now, talk about what we do if we walked into this situation, and then talk about also why it's so important as a business owner to have a standard SOP, right? Standard operation procedure, how your business is run, and also to have all your ducks in a row and have your business operating right so that if something happens like this, uneventful, or it's something that's unplanned, you now would at least have a blueprint of how to exit out of this. Let's talk about what we do, why we do it, and in a situation like this, why, to be quite honest, why you need us.
Mhm. First off, I want to say, Floyd, sorry for your loss. Condolences out to them, the people that you went to the funeral with, their family and everything. But it just like Sam just said, it's important for us to have these type of things, like the SOPs in place, the systems, the processes, like all of this stuff is important because God forbid you get hit by a bus one day. God forbid, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But if it does, and you're left paralyzed or you can't talk, but you still have a $2.5 million business that's operating, you got 15 employees that's working for you. But now, because all the information was in your head, everybody's running around scrambling like a chicken with the head cut off, if y'all know that saying. The goal is to build a company that is independent. Think of like you have a teenager, they know how to drive, they know how to go to the store, they know how to use a checking account, they know how to use their credit cards and all that stuff. You can send them out to the public and fend them for themselves. But your business, y'all look at it as a different thing. Like you have to be there holding this baby all the way until it dies, which is crazy. When you start planning for your exit, that's why I love the name of our podcast, Freedom to Exit. Like when you start planning for it, it's basically coming up with this fire drill for the day that you have a fire. Like if would you Sam, Floyd, would y'all send y'all kids to a school that never practiced a fire drill a day in their lives?
Absolutely no.
We-
But yet, when
Well,
it comes to our business, we're operating our businesses in that manner all the time as business owners for some reason. So planning the fire drill for when that fire happens versus waiting until the fire happens to come up with this plan or waiting till the building burned down. It's like, oh, we should have a fire drill. Why are you waiting? As a business owner, prepping for exit looks like clear SOPs. SOP stands for standard operating procedures, clear KPIs, key performance indicators, clear systems that run your business. My word for system is save yourself time, energy, money, and stress. When we have all these things in place and that bust that hit us, God forbid, knock on wood, it doesn't happen. We have enough systems in place where the company can still run itself, where we have the managers who know exactly what to do. We have the employees that know their roles or responsibilities, where your wife, your sister, your brother, your cousin can come in, look at the spreadsheet of clear instructions on how to read what your business is doing. Like think of it like putting together furniture from IKEA. It's just so simple compared to the stuff that comes from Amazon is a headache. Your business should be that same way when passing it off to the next person, when any situation happens.
Peace. Floyd, I want to ask you this, and to build on what Maurice said. Floyd, you coach CEOs of companies. Do you ever recommend to Maurice's points? Do you ever recommend to those guys sitting down, putting together a plan? How would they continue to operate if that person wasn't sitting in that chair? What would be their SOP? How would that company run? Do you have systems in place, and do you have a person designated to sit in that chair and keep this business running and thriving on the path that it was going?
yeah. Yeah, well, we talked, Maurice talked about a couple things that are part of the biggest pain points of any small business. And we're talking primarily about small business because the big corporations, they have SOPs, they have KPIs, they have OKRs, they have all those things in place because they know they're necessary for a business to have predictable profitability and scalability, right? But the small business owner is someone probably, guys, who started off their business because they were good at something. Maybe they were good at plumbing. Maybe they could be good at making cooking food, and now they went out and started their business, and no one taught them about some of these business principles. The biggest pain points are always the same as I, talk to business owners, and I do talk to small business owners who own their companies and different business verticals. But it's these 6 things. One is owner dependency. We talked about that a lot. This illustrates this example. I started the podcast with the owner of this company, being that person who knows everything. Their expertise. They went to school. They have their masters. They know what they're doing as far as medical procedures are concerned, but they don't know how to run a business because they don't cover that in medical school. So owner dependency is number one. Unpredictable profits. Don't know what the revenue is coming from, so the revenue fluctuates. I watched that company have problems with revenue because they had cash flow stress, and they didn't have any no clear financial strategy, right? And we can talk about business concentration and customer concentration and all of that. But that's number two. The third thing is operational chaos. No document processes. That's where we started this conversation with, and that's what Maurice was talking about, the documented processes and systems. People, when companies buy other companies, they're buying the processes and systems, right? They're buying the predictability that the cash flow is going to remain the same, or even we can increase it based on the processes and systems. The growth plateaus. This particular company that I talked to you, they plateaued. They got to a certain place and they got stuck. The revenue levels stayed where they were. Marketing not predictable, just sporadic marketing. We'll do this, we do that, but there's no continuity to the marketing. There's no, when I was in advertising, we did advertising campaigns. We just don't throw out, an idea. Let's just, put some flyers out. Let's just do some postcards. There's got to be a marketing strategy, right? Isolation. No one's, when we talk about a small business, it's a lonely place. We've talked about that before. Business owners are isolated. They don't have a sounding board. They don't have a peer group. They don't have a place to really find out what is the best practices for my industry. And so they find themselves being isolated and working in a silo. The last thing is lack of strategy, and clarity. I teach my clients to think not how you're going to pay your employees next month, but let's go 3 years, 2 years, 3 years out and design a strategy for how your business is going to grow. So, you can look at all these documentations, all this information about the pain points of businesses. These 6 are going to always come up, Sam and Maurice. So I'll throw it back to you guys.
Piggyback on what Floyd talked about, especially with small business owners. Is it safe to say that you should structure your small business? And Floyd talked about the big companies, that they have certain structure and certain systems in place, right? Because they understand that upper management change. If I was a small business today, would you tell me look at those things that a large corporation put in place and try to scale those things down to put in a standard operational procedure for me and my small business? Also with the thought process of one day, because I think as a small business owner, we start our business with the thought process of what? Being able to pay my bills and support myself. But at some point, you're going to have to start thinking bigger to grow, or you're going to have to shut it down. So let's walk us through that process of that thought process of having those systems in place like a large business, but also that thought process, even though I'm a small business, with an idea of growth in my future. Hey man, I'm a lot smarter than the basketball coach. I done told you guys that.
Yeah. Well, I would say, the most attractive offering that we as Exit Factor and organizations like us who are growth advisors can offer company is what you guys are really alluding to, which is diagnostic and business scorecard. I have clients, who are VPs of companies and in C-suite, and they talk about, we have a scorecard, right? We have a way to diagnose the company. When you look at those scorecards, what those scorecards are looking at, those about 4 different areas. One is financials, the other one is operations, the other one is growth, and the other one is leadership. So when you look at that, if they could, and like what you said, if we could take these major corporations and, I think it's Jim Collins who wrote the book Good to Great, and he talks about there's not a whole lot of great companies. Even the major corporations are not great. Some of them. There are only a handful that are great companies because they have checked these boxes off. Most of them are they just go along and they have deficiencies, but they're so big that they can go and they can operate that way. Small companies can't. You can't operate with a bunch of deficiencies because you only have so much time to get it right as a small company. So you've got to deal with this scorecard that we talked about and have a way to diagnose your company, to find deficiencies. And most small business owners don't have time to do that, Sam and Maurice. That's what we do. We will help with the diagnostic of the company. We will help create a business scorecard, and we'll be able to look at their financials, look at their profit margins, look at their cash flow. We look at their revenue mix, like I talk about concentration. We can talk about customer acquisition. We can talk about acquiring other business verticals that they add to their business to enhance and accelerate the growth of the business faster. And then we talked about operations, processes and team structure, technology, owner dependency, all those things have to be addressed. And then it falls direct for me, based on what I do, because I'm an executive leadership coach. I start from who's sitting in certain chairs, who's sitting in certain seats, because if you got the wrong people in the wrong seats, none of this is going to be, you're not going to be able to correct any of these deficiencies if you don't have the right people in the right seats.
Agreed.
But Maurice,
Agreed.
I
We
like
we
yeah.
when people start thinking about exit, they always like, oh, is this only when I have a business that's already like making money or doing all these things, or that's not even on my plate right now. It's like 10 years down the line, I'm thinking about exit. It's like, no, exiting is just that plan for when something does happen, regardless. But the same things that we do at Exit Factor is if you want to launch a business. If you're a startup looking to launch a business, you have the money to actually invest into a proper infrastructure from the very beginning. If you're looking to grow your business or you're looking to scale your business, the exact same systems apply to all of these things. And to the a point that you was mentioning, we have this thing called a exit assessment, right? And the exit assessment is one of the best creations that's been made for business owners, in my opinion. I'm a brag it like that. A very detailed document that talks. Think about, like, would you really buy a house without a home inspection on it? That has no idea how long the roof has been there, the HVAC system has been there, if it has termites or anything. Like, most people really care about this home inspection. Shoot, a bank won't even finance you until you get a home inspection. They're going to send their own inspector out to look at the house before they give you a mortgage. So our exit assessment is, I don't want to say equivalent, but just think of like the idea is a on the aspect of idea for business owners. That's what our exit assessment is a full inspection on your business to let you know what's wrong, what needs to be fixed, where are you actually looking to go? Because if you have a GPS, you got to know where you are and where you want to go and how to get there. So that exit method is the route on where you're looking to take this company. But it's breaking down all the things that Floyd mentioned. It's breaking down the people. It's breaking down the financials. It's breaking down the systems. It's breaking down the documents. It's breaking down your SOPs. It's breaking everything down in your organization. That way you kind of have a blueprint to follow when it comes to launching, scaling, growing, or exiting your business. But the world, for some reason, doesn't really talk about these things. Like, there's not so much education on how to properly scale and grow a business or even exit a business. All the information about there, like that I seen, even when I went to school for business management, didn't teach you none of this stuff. The business owners that's are running their business successfully, like you have a $5 million business and you've been growing every single year, but now you're stuck and you hit a wall and you don't know what to do. That's the block that needs the this is where we come into now assist you. It's like, okay, this is the wall. This is why the wall is here because you don't have the people in place to actually get you to scale. You're spending 100 hours in your business versus spending 20 hours in your business. You need to find the right leadership team. But because all they did was master the creation of how to fix cars as a mechanic, their time now becomes limited on what they can actually do. So by bringing professionals in, it's like, okay, now that you've been running this mechanic shop, you're making $5 million a year. How do we actually duplicate your offers, your services? That way other people can replace you and you can actually scale this business. Is if all the business is dependent on you showing up, it will never be scalable. It will never be exitable. It will be what we call golden handcuffs. Like you're a slave to your business. So that's my little rant.
Yeah, I wanna take this in this direction right here. Floyd and Maurice, we're always entertaining clients and meet with clients that have growth plans and want to scale their business. But because their SOPs are not in order, because the back end of their businesses are not in order, once we start doing that research, diving into the numbers, they're not eligible for a lot of the finances from VCs and people that we know want to loan money. And believe it or not, people, there are a lot of people out there that want to loan money at good rates, 7% or less. I want to talk about it, Maurice. I want to talk about this. And we've talked about this, putting together a plan to help. And I got this idea, guys. We put together a plan to help people set up an SOP for their business and explain to them why that's important. And also put together a plan to make sure the back end of their business is in order so that when the time comes for them to need an influx of capital, they will have their business in order to have access to the money. Now, look, we have the credentials and we have what it takes to access this money. We have the resources. We're not going to give it away. That's why you got to come sit down and meet with myself, Floyd, or Maurice, or Josiah. Meet us at our business on Peachtree downtown, and we can give you this information once you sign an agreement with us. But I often tell people like this: an investment of $500 to $7,500 will put your business in line to have access to capital of $1 million up to $50 million at 7% or less. Let that resonate with people. Floyd, I want you to talk about why it's important to go on and get the back end of your business, make sure your taxes, make sure everything is in order so that when you need this money or you need this capital, you can have access to it. Because I'm tired of the myth. People always know this is for minority. We don't have access to capital. Yes, you do. You don't have access to capital, and I'm getting a little emotional, because the back end of your business is not in order. Your taxes are not in order. You have past due loans. Your credit score is not where it needs to be. Sit down with a professional and let them help you get your house in order. You can expand your house. Am I saying something wrong, Floyd?
I think you've seen that
No,
loud enough, man.
I'm being
I've got to
raw
call
now.
you
I'm
coach.
being a little real, but hey, we're getting tired of it.
I've got to call you coach right now because you're coaching. I mean, it's right. And nobody who wants a soft coach who doesn't tell the truth and doesn't use direct communication to help you get better. And that's what you're doing because, we've seen it. We've lived it. I've been around a lot of small businesses who actually who say that I can't get funds. It's not fair.
Yeah,
And
I'm
this is,
sick of it.
and all, yeah. Well, you know what? It's like this. When you go to these institutions, be it a bank, be it a PE firm, be it a family
Or come
office,
down. We
these
have access to
institutions
capital, people.
are or we have access to all of those that I just talked about. But when you come, you can't come without checking the boxes. It's one thing we do with here where we work with small businesses. We help them with the pre-diligence, right? Not the due diligence, but the pre. Before you even start talking about getting funding, we need to check these boxes off, and the boxes are the same size and in the same location on the page as everybody else's boxes. So don't talk about the boxes are not they're not the same. The boxes that you check off are credit. Do you have your last three banks financials tax returns? Do you have your last 6-month bank statements in order? Are they reconciled? See, that is those boxes are clear. And so when you talk about, I talked about it like, underwriting. They used to, have a mortgage brokerage firm. When you talk about, the boxes in the underwriting process, it's the same for everybody, or it should be. And all you have to do is make sure you can check those boxes. Do you have a credit score that is that meets the criteria, right? Do you have liens and things on your credit that's going to impede you? Get them off clean. So we have to really start there before we start talking about lending people millions of dollars. Because let's think about it. If you had someone come to you and they wanted you to borrow money from you that they said they're going to pay back, you would want to make sure that they had the wherewithal to service the debt and pay you back. And we can do that. It might take longer for some because of decisions that they have made, guys. In the past, someone told me a long, long time ago, you are where you are right now based on decisions you made, not yesterday, but decisions you made 5 years ago, right? And where you're going to be 5 years from now as a business owner is going to be based on decisions you make today. That's why you come to us, so we can help you make the right decisions today. So down the road, when you want to get that loan, when you want to be able to have a PE firm look at your company or any other anybody who wants to buy it, we've checked the boxes. Your business is clean. You look attractive, and we won't have a whole lot of dialogue about why you don't do this and why you haven't done that, because you've checked those boxes. You've got those things, shored up. So you're right. And we've got to be honest, and that's what we do. We're not sugarcoating your business as far as how it looks. If it's in a disarray, we're not gonna beat you up on it, but we're going to let you know it's in a disarray, and we're going to help you get it to a place where it's healthy. Isn't that what we should?
And Maurice, I want to ask you this. You're in this space. Look, what I love about our company, we got myself and Floyd, who are a little older. Josiah's kind of more in the middle. Maurice, you're more on the younger side, early 30s. And you deal with a lot of young entrepreneurs. Talk to us about, in your conversations with those guys, knowing what you know now, even though you're a young man, with your business experience and the training that you have, I consider you an old soul in this spot. Talk about those conversations with these young people and expound on what Floyd talked about, getting the back end of your business in order. And again, talk to people about investing some money early in your business to make sure your front office and your back office and your systems are in place, so that when that time comes to scale your business, all the boxes are checked.
Oh, so I love it, man. Thank you. So young, old, it doesn't really matter if you're a business owner. Everybody has the same goal: to make money from their business and to provide a solution to the public, to the world. Every industry serves the same purpose. You wouldn't be in business if one of those things wasn't your goal. So by investing any type of thing into, one, yourself, and then two, into your business, you're building a solid foundation for the company. You're building something that can actually be able to withstand all the storms, all the inconsistencies, all the ups and downs of the economy, anything in that manner. When we go, like we talked about earlier, is like looking at the big businesses from the Fortune 500 companies, et cetera. A lot of them in the past did not want to adapt to the economy. There's like, oh no, we're good. We're going to keep doing things our way. But then there's times where like Radio Shack happened. Best Buy is slowly decreasing, but Radio Shack, Sears, Kmart, um, Pathmark. There's Barnes& and Noble had a crazy L, but they're now coming back. Even big companies have to go through these process. It don't matter if you're making $200,000 or $200 million. You still have to understand the systems and process that need to be in place for the economy that we are in. Now, when it comes to investing a little bit of money into some type of coaching, some type of mentorship, some type of program, some type of inspection done on your business, I'm highly for it. Like we all go to get blood work done. We all go to the doctors to get some type of specialized treatment when it comes to our body, our health, to understand like, hey, what is wrong with me? Like if my stomach has been bothering me for the last 3 months, I'm going to pay a specialist to help me figure out like what is wrong with my stomach. Why? Because I want to live as long as possible. Treat your business the same way. Don't just pass it off to somebody. Don't think, "Oh, I know everything." Like, if you knew everything, you would be already Elon Musk right now, but clearly you're not. And I'm not trying to say, like, it's a bad thing. I'm saying spend some time to actually determine where you want to take your company and where you want it to go, and then put all your effort into actually growing this business. Find the professionals that actually know what they're doing, that's been trained on what they're doing, to come in and assist you to grow this business to the next level, to even prepare it for when this fire does happen. Because regardless if you like it or not, Sam always says this, you're going to exit your business. You can exit your business on your terms or someone else's terms, or you can get dragged out the door and they can carry you in a casket, sadly. But regardless, you will have to exit your business one day. And it could be on your terms or someone else's terms. So why not make it on your terms? Why not start planning now? Why not start get the inspection on your business today? Why wait until 4 years, 5 years in a line to determine what's wrong or to optimize your business? Like when we go to sports, these are sports guys. LeBron James was spending millions of dollars on his health when he was 18, 19. Why? Because he already knew that he was going to be the best basketball player. So he was priming himself up at 18 for the person that he's today at what, at 40 something?
One.
41? So 30 years has passed, but he already was investing money into his health. He knew that as a business person for him, which is his business is playing sports, he had to put money up to work on his body, to make sure that he's the most fit he could possibly be, to be the strongest, to be the fastest, to all of that stuff. When we're thinking about our business though, we're not equating it like that. We're just like, "Oh, I can do everything myself. I'm the expert. I know all my sales. I know all my operations. I know my systems. I know my processes. I know all my customers. I know everything." Cool. So why are you not the number one business in the world right now if you know everything? Why are you still unable to attend your kids' soccer games because you're running your business? Why are you stuck behind a computer, have 5 phones because you managing everything yourself, but you know everything? I wanna share something with y'all real quick because I don't know if y'all seen Josiah had sent us a message earlier about the from Fox Business. So these are not even my words. This is from Fox Business. And y'all know the silver tsunami, right? Y'all heard of that? So it says right here, millions of jobs vulnerable as silver tsunami looms over the US small business expert warns. Here's the reason why they're warning us. Nearly half of US small business owners are 55 or older. Nearly half. So think of all the people that's employed from these individuals. Small business makes up, what is it, 62 million Americans, excuse me, 62 million Americans are employed by a small business owner. That's one right there. So if you know a friend, if you know a family member, if you know a cousin, if you know a brother who is a small business owner, start asking them about what their succession plan is. Because here's what it says. Nearly half of US business owners are 55 or older, yet 54% have a session only 54% have a succession plan in place. Setting the stage for a potential retirement stock could leave many companies vulnerable over the next decade, according to Forbes. Not my words, not Fox, but Forbes. The stakes are high. Small business employs more than 62 million Americans and account for roughly 43% of US GDP, according to the Small Business Administration. If a significant share of those businesses close instead of transitioning to a new leadership, communities nationwide can feel the effect. American operator founder William Frey told on Fox Business. What I'm hearing from this is basically I live in suburbia now. I grew up in a city. In suburban, it's all major businesses. In the city, it was actually small mom and pop shops. Like we knew the person that ran the corner store. We knew the person that ran the teller shop. We knew every business owner in my neighborhood. Where I'm at now, it's only large conglomerates. So from COVID, yeah, I remember COVID. Majority of the people that was laying off people during COVID was your large conglomerate businesses that had 600 employees. Why? Because you're a statistic. But for your small business owners, they was doing everything they possibly could to make sure that they kept their employees in place. Everything they could. Now, think about the large corporations that know that this silver tsunami is happening, yet so many business owners don't have an exit plan in place. They're going to come in and swoop in like little hawks, taking all the little mice that's on the block to now buy up more stuff. That's my opinion. So, as a business owner, as a certified exit planning um, advisor, my goal for all the listeners is to talk to any business owner you know and start just asking questions about what their succession plan looks like. I don't care if they're coming to us. I don't care if they're going to a competitor. Ideally, I want them to come to me. I'm just saying. Send them over here to Exit Factor North, North Atlanta. We gonna get them straight. But when we start really thinking about the future of what small business owners mean to our economy and how important it is to make sure that they have a succession plan in place, because if 15 businesses around your neighborhood decide to randomly close, how many jobs have just been lost? How far now do you gotta go to get your car wash, or how far do you gotta get your hair cut, or how far do you gotta go to take your son to a karate class because there's no longer a karate instructor in your neighborhood? Why? Because the person that owns this karate shop is looking to retire, but no one actually wants to take over it. I'm not we're not doing this to be selfish. This podcast is not for us whatsoever. This podcast is to enlighten people, to share more information, to actually advise to the public how important the things that we're talking about is for not just me, not for you, but for your friends, your family, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your doctor, your nurses, your millmen, everyone in your neighborhood, every person you know should be understanding what a succession plan is for their business. Even if they don't have a business, still call them and ask them.
Absolutely. Floyd, look, before we wrap this segment up, look, I want to give you some thoughts.
Yes.
And Floyd, I want to come to you last to close it out. To piggyback on what Maurice said,
Okay.
listeners and viewers, think about it like this. If Michael Jordan retired at 36, and I don't have the exact age in front of me, and LeBron has invested $1 million a year into his body, and LeBron is 41, do the math. At an average of $50 million a year, LeBron has made an extra $250 million. Now he's still playing. So let's say he plays another 2 years, and that's at $25 million a year. So now he's at $300 million. Now, when you factor in over those additional 6 to 7 years, he's still getting endorsement money. He's still getting TV money. He's still getting appearance money. So by LeBron investing, let's say an extra million. So let's just say this. LeBron plays 25 years. So LeBron has invested $25 million into his body. LeBron James, just that, he would have made an extra $300 million on top of the $1.2 billion. Now, do the math and say that money is earning just 5%, that $300 million over 7 years. By LeBron James investing $25 million over the last 7 years, he's made an extra $450 million on a $25 million investment. And in total, he's at around $2 billion when you figure it out. When you figure out contract, endorsements, appearances, all of that investments, he would have walked out of the NBA because of a $25 million investment. He would have turned that into around $2 billion and growing. So that's when we talk about investing in your business, that's what we do. Not to say we can take you from 25 to 2 billion, but I tell you what, we can increase it significantly. Floyd, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I think you just nailed that piece because that's how I concluded too. I want to conclude, our conversation on really investing in yourself, investing in your business. Sam, Maurice, I make a point to invest in myself every year, be it my business or personally. And I spend thousands of dollars on certifications. You guys know I just went through a whole, I'm going through a process of certification now. I probably identified 3 different certifications that will enhance my business and make me better than my competition, right? Every year. And that's an investment that has served me well. And the ROI on that investment is far beyond what I invest year to year. As a business owner, we got to think of that too. We can't, like Maurice says, we can't think that we know everything. We have all the solutions. There are countless of best practice solutions out there, good strategies for business owners. There's no excuse for a business owner to fail. There's really not. If they have a great product or a great service and they're providing value, there's no reason because there's so many resources, even beyond us. But we've got one of the best solutions for a small business, one of the most affordable solutions for a small business to help them grow and develop. And when they're ready to exit, they can exit out on their terms and not on someone else's. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I think we had a great conversation today.
Please give them our information before we go, our address and our email.
So if y'all want to reach us, all you got to do is email us at fix that. It's info@exitfactoratlantanorth.com. Our address is 3379 Peachtree Road, Suite 700, Atlanta, Georgia, right next to Lenox Mall. Come pull up on us. Come check your boys out. I can't say we're there every day, but we there. Just send us a message on IG or text us or something, and we'll find a way to meet you. And lastly, I would say, and if you want to determine how exit ready your business is today, we actually made a free resource for you guys. It's called map.exit.com. So by you going to map.exit.com, MAP, that DTHAT, exit, EXIT.com. You go there, you can take a free assessment that we made to see where you currently stand as your business for actually getting it prepared to exit. If that looks like franchising, if that looks like selling it to an investor, if that looks like giving it to an employee to take over or giving it to your son or daughter. Exiting is simply you stepping back and letting someone else run the show. So regardless of where you want your exit to look like, go to map.exit.com. It will show you, give you some advice on where you currently stand.
Thank you, Floyd, Maurice, Josiah wasn't able to join us, but listeners, thank you for tuning in to Freedom to Exit. I'm your host, Sam Mitchell. And remember, You are going to exit your business one day. The question is, do you want to exit it on your terms or do you want to exit it on someone else's terms? But believe me, you will exit your business. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back with you next week.
Bye.